today's make, look, the last planned make on Caster 2, these slabs are part of our slab stock build to keep the hot mill going during the period where the heavy end is offline effectively.
It's been a challenging day today. Emotions are running high. Yeah, we sort of looked from an outsider looking in, to be honest with regards to more of a coke ovens and number 5 furnace.
Obviously we took blast furnace 5 off, and what that has resulted then is we start to take some of the caster or some of the steel and slab units off, and Caster 2 being that first unit within the steel plant. Yeah, a sad day, and no doubt to the many people that worked on this plant, a lot of memories.
Caster 2 was built at a budget of just over 80 million. A split mould caster was in its infancy at the time, so the design of it was critical. The caster was fully automated, and that was a rarity in them days, to fully automate anything. So the technology we had on there was unbelievable. You've got to understand, I don't think people understand the actual size of things, and the segments themselves they're actually massive. The slab goes through, and what's in the segments and what holds the segments in, it's all real top of the notch engineering, and it's difficult to replicate with anything else. It's a one-off, and she was a good machine.
If you think in 1992 when it was commissioned, there was a huge order book, quite groundbreaking as well on what it was producing. It was producing a 2.7 wide slab for the North American market. Later on in his career, then at early 2000s, it started to go through a twin mould, but it's gone into some real niche markets, if I'm honest, over the last 10 to 15 years. Most recently, it's sort of created what good looks like from a high silicon order book perspective, supporting a Shurama order book.
What Caster 2 has allowed us is to bring in grads, apprentices, operators, and typically as a bit of a learning caster, whilst you then start moving people from, say, Caster 2, the Caster 1 and the Caster 3.
We've been working on this project now since the end of last year, going into January. It's not just a case of the caster coming off. There's been a lot of planning to get to this position, but it's raw. It's extremely raw today for everyone involved.
Whilst I reflect and I look at all the happy memories, and no doubt all the workforce and those who have been involved, whether it's the building of Caster 2, the commissioning, the operations, the learning, there's been many memories on that asset. I think it's important to also consider in terms of what does the future look like, and invest in 1.25 billion on this plant over the next 2 to 3 years will hopefully springboard us that over that period of time we can get back to being in the Premier League of steel making, where we're offering a green product, something that our customers are continue to try and get, and certainly what we are trying to achieve is to get target net zero within the UK.
There's significant capex investments going into Caster 1 and 3, over £40 million worth. So there's two sides of it. It's sort of this bittersweet where we look at the assets coming off and going into cessation, but there's a new world coming of life extension on the casters, where hopefully we can sort of start producing different types of steel as well, in line with the EAF.
In terms of when we start back up in 3 to 4 years' time, okay, we expect to be making 90% of the current order book with the new kit that we got online in terms of the EAF and ladle furnace. But in terms of the 10% that we initially don't think we might be able to make, given the experience we've got in the workforce, given our knowledge of making these products with the existing processes, if anyone's going to be able to push the barriers and get into those markets with the new green steel route, it'll be for Talbot.
What we're looking at doing is investing in technology, and I think the technology we'll invest in will put the works another 20, 30 years, which is a good thing for the area and a good thing for the people working here.